Have you ever noticed how unfair and cruel time is to physical beauty? What was once admired, smooth skin, a radiant gaze, a youthful facial contour, is now covered by a faint veil of fatigue. And tomorrow, it will be nothing more than a warm memory. Society, culture, the media, they all praise youth, forcing women into a race against time that they are destined to lose. We spend fortunes on creams, we fear every new wrinkle, and we anxiously look in the mirror trying to find the person we were 10 or 20 years ago. But what if I told you that this battle is a false one? That you're fighting on the wrong battlefield and against the wrong enemy? That while you're desperately trying to hold on to something that is, by its very nature, temporary, you're missing out on something much more powerful. Something that doesn't fade with the years, but instead shines even brighter. Like a well-aged wine that gains depth, complexity, and an irresistible allure, there is one character trait, one inner quality mentioned earlier that turns a woman into a true magnet. And the strength of this magnetism doesn't fade with the arrival of gray hair or wrinkles. On the contrary, it only grows, making a woman not just attractive, but truly desirable. Someone whose presence you crave, whose mystery you want to unravel, whose depth you long to understand. Carl Gustav Jung, the great explorer of the human soul, devoted his life to studying what lies beneath the superficial masks we wear. He spoke not about facial beauty, but about the beauty of an entire personality. And it was he who described the inner core, the state of being that makes a person eternally irresistible. This isn't just some trick or technique. It's a complete, profound quality that grows from within and shows itself in everything. In her gaze, in her voice, in her silence, in the way she carries herself. This character trait is inner self-sufficiency. Don't mistake it for cold independence, aloofness, or pride. No, inner self-sufficiency is a warm, calm, and stable state in which a woman stops looking for the source of happiness, validation of her worth, and meaning in life outside herself, in a man, in children, or in social approval. She finds this inexhaustible source within herself. She becomes a whole universe, not a half searching to be completed. And it is this wholeness, this inner fullness, that creates that very aura, that magnetism that time is powerless against. A man, by his nature an explorer and a conqueror, is intuitively drawn not to emptiness that needs to be filled, but to abundance that he wants to touch. Emptiness demands, screams, is capricious, and fears being abandoned. Abundance shares generously, asking for nothing in return because it has more than enough. A woman who possesses inner self-sufficiency doesn't need a savior, and that is precisely why a man wants to become a hero by her side. Not out of pity, but out of admiration. Today, we will not talk about face masks or fashion trends. We will embark on a journey deep inside, to the very core of your personality. We will break down this great character trait, this inner self-sufficiency, piece by piece and examine its 7 key manifestations. 7 pillars upon which unfading female allure rests. These are not quick tips. These are fundamental shifts in your perception of the world that, if you allow them to happen, will change not only how others see you, but also how you yourself feel in this world. At any age, are you ready to stop fearing time and make it your ally? Then let's begin. Asterisk, asterisk, first manifestation, the art of being alone, but not lonely. Asterisk, asterisk, in our world, obsessed with communication, silence and solitude have become synonymous with failure, lack of success, and loneliness. From childhood, we are taught to be part of a group, to be connected, to be needed. And a woman who finds herself alone often feels not peace, but anxiety. She reaches for her phone, turns on the TV, fills the silence with any noise just to avoid hearing the voice of her own self. This fear of being alone is the cry of an inner void. It's an unconscious admission, without others, I do not exist. A woman who possesses self-sufficiency sees solitude in a completely different light. For her, it is not a punishment, but a gift. Not emptiness, but fullness. It is precious time when she can meet with herself, hear her true desires, and restore her energy. Jung would have called this process the sacred path to individuation, becoming who you're truly meant to be, not who others want you to be. Imagine two lakes. One is shallow, its surface constantly covered in ripples from the slightest breeze. Any stone thrown in stirs up mud from the bottom. The other is a deep mountain lake. Its surface can remain calm, even in windy weather, and its waters are pure and clear. Solitude is the opportunity to find your own depth. When a woman is not afraid to be alone, the hint of neediness disappears from her behavior. She doesn't cling to a man like a life raft. Her messages don't scream, "Answer me immediately or I'll die of anxiety." Her calls are not possessive. Her presence in a man's life becomes not an obligation for him, but a conscious choice. He feels that she is with him not because she has no one else to be with, but because she has chosen to be with him. And this freedom of choice is disarming and evokes the deepest respect. A man intuitively reads this difference. The needy woman broadcasts, "Fill my emptiness. Entertain me. Save me from myself." The woman who is a universe broadcasts, "I am happy on my own, but with you, it could be even more interesting. I invite you into my world, but my world won't collapse if you decline." Do you feel the difference in the vibes? One pushes away, the other draws you in. How can you develop this art within yourself? Start with small but intentional steps. Set aside sacred time for yourself, at least 30 minutes a day when you belong only to yourself. No phone, no TV shows, no books, just you and the silence. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, even make you anxious. That's your inner emptiness craving its usual fix of outside noise. Push through it. Listen. What is the silence telling you? What thoughts come up? What desires, usually buried by the daily grind, start to surface? Take yourself out on a date. Go to a cafe, a movie, or an art exhibit by yourself. Not to meet someone, but to enjoy the company of the most important person in your life, yourself. Learn to take pleasure in your own company. When you love being alone with yourself, you'll stop fearing that someone might leave you. Because even if that happens, you'll still have yourself, and that's the most reliable support you can have. A woman who has mastered the art of solitude becomes a mystery. She draws her strength and inspiration from a source invisible to others. She's unpredictable because her mood doesn't depend on external factors. She's fascinating because her inner world is rich and multifaceted. She's not an open book you can read in one evening, but an entire library you want to explore for a lifetime. The second manifestation, emotional sovereignty. What is emotional sovereignty? It's a woman's ability to be the master of her emotional state, not its slave. It's when her mood doesn't swing up and down depending on whether he called or not, whether her boss praised or criticized her, or whether the saleswoman smiled at her or was rude. Most people live in a state of emotional dependence. Their sense of self is just a mirror reflecting how others treat them. Their sense of self is fragile and constantly needs external validation. Jung called this outer shell created for society the persona. And many women merge so completely with their persona of the good girl, the perfect wife, the understanding friend, that they lose touch with their true self. They suppress their anger, hide their disappointment, and swallow their resentment because they're afraid that showing these negative feelings will ruin their image and lead to rejection. Jung taught that all suppressed emotions don't just disappear. They are stored in the unconscious, in what he called the shadow. And this shadow, this compressed energy of unexpressed anger and pain, starts to control the woman from behind the scenes. It shows up as passive aggression, psychosomatic illnesses, sudden outbursts and tears over little things, and a constant sense of being a victim. An emotionally sovereign woman makes peace with her shadow. She recognizes her right to experience the full range of emotions. She understands that anger is a sign that her boundaries have been crossed. Resentment is a sign of an unmet need. Fear is a sign of possible danger. These aren't bad emotions. They're her internal navigation system. And instead of suppressing these signals, she learns to interpret them and respond appropriately. What does this look like in real life? If a man is late for a date without telling her, an emotionally dependent woman will spend half an hour working herself up, imagining the worst. When he shows up, she'll either throw a fit, saying, "You don't value me," or she'll swallow her resentment, act like everything's fine, and then punish him with the silent treatment for the rest of the night. An emotionally sovereign woman will handle it differently. She'll recognize that she's irritated. She won't pretend nothing happened. When the man arrives, she'll calmly say, without any drama, "I'm happy to see you. But when you're late and don't let me know, I feel like it's disrespectful of my time. Please just text me next time." That's all. She didn't accuse him. She didn't humiliate him. She didn't play the victim. She stated her boundary, expressed how she felt, and made a request. She stayed in control of the situation, not a victim of it. A man feels safe with a woman like that. He knows she won't blow up over something small, that he won't have to constantly rescue her from her own emotions, and that she won't try to manipulate him with tears or resentment. Her emotional stability is like a safe harbor in a world full of storms. With her, he can relax and be himself, because he knows she can handle her own feelings, and, as a result, will be able to handle his as well. Emotional sovereignty isn't about being cold or insensitive. On the contrary, it's about being deeply in touch with your feelings, but not letting them define you. I feel anger, instead of, I am angry. I am experiencing sadness, instead of, I am miserable. This subtle but crucial difference gives her the freedom to choose. She can feel an emotion and then let it go, instead of getting stuck in it for hours or days. This ability makes her presence steady, warm, and incredibly attractive. She isn't a roller coaster that takes your breath away but quickly leaves you drained. She's a deep, calm sea you want to dive into over and over again. Asterisk. Third manifestation, the quiet fire of personal passion. Asterisk. One of the biggest mistakes a woman can make when starting a relationship is making a man the center of her universe. Her interests, hobbies, friends, and dreams all gradually get pushed to the background and then disappear completely. Her life starts to revolve around him. His moods, his plans, his desires. She stops being a separate, self-sufficient planet and becomes a satellite whose entire path depends on another celestial body. At first, this might make a man feel flattered, but very soon it becomes suffocating. He feels the unbearable weight of being responsible for her happiness. He realizes that if he were to leave, her world would fall apart, and that is terrifying. On top of that, she becomes predictable and, unfortunately, boring. After all, He fell in love with her when her eyes sparkled with her own ideas and passions. Now, that fire has gone out, and all the light in her window is just a reflection of his own personality. A self-sufficient woman never lets her quiet fire go out. It could be anything. Painting, studying ancient languages, volunteering at an animal shelter, growing rare orchids, writing poetry, or hiking in the mountains. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it's her own space. It's her personal source of energy, joy, and meaning, and it doesn't depend on whether there's a man in her life. Jung spoke about the importance of creative energy, about that part of the soul, the anima in a man and the animus in a woman, that strives for creation. When a woman is passionate about her own pursuits, she taps into this powerful source. She doesn't just have a hobby, she creates. She fulfills herself. And this creative energy surrounds her with an aura that makes her incredibly attractive. Her eyes light up when she talks about what she loves. She isn't waiting by the phone for his call, because she has more interesting things to do. She doesn't expect him to fill every minute of her free time, because her time is precious. She doesn't lose herself in him, she enriches him with her own world. A man sees not just a beautiful woman by his side, but a multifaceted, passionate person. He is curious about what's going on in her world. He sees that she is happy and fulfilled, not just because of him, but on her own. This takes the weight of responsibility off his shoulders and sparks a healthy desire to be part of her amazing life. He starts not just to love her, but to admire her. What's more, her passion is contagious. Next to a woman like this, a man wants to grow, to develop, and to remember his own forgotten dreams. She becomes not a crutch for him, but a muse. Think about what sets your own inner fire alight. What did you love to do as a child, before anyone told you it wasn't serious or practical? Maybe you dreamed of dancing, drawing, or writing stories. It's never too late to go back to that. Find what makes your soul sing and make time for it. Not for the outcome, not for recognition, but for the process itself. For pure, unadulterated joy. This quiet fire of personal passion will become your secret weapon against boredom, despair, and dependence. It will become the light that draws interesting people and events to you, like moths to a flame. And this light will not fade with time. Fourth manifestation, the wisdom of selectivity. In their desire to be good, kind, and helpful, many women turn their lives into a revolving door. They are open to everyone. To toxic friends who do nothing but complain and drain her energy. To coworkers who unload their work onto her. To relatives who shamelessly meddle in her life. They're afraid to say no, afraid to offend, afraid of seeming selfish. As a result, their energy, their time, their inner strength, all of it gets scattered. Pulled apart piece by piece, leaving nothing for herself. A self-sufficient woman has the wisdom to be selective. She understands that her inner resources are not unlimited. Her energy, attention, and time are her most valuable assets, and she's not willing to invest them in people who don't deserve it. Jung said that one of the most important tasks on the path to wholeness is to learn to practice discernment, to distinguish between what nourishes your soul and what drains it, which people inspire you and which ones leave you feeling empty, which relationships foster growth and which ones lead to decline. The wisdom of being selective is not arrogance. It's a kind of spiritual ecology. It's the conscious act of setting boundaries. A self-sufficient woman isn't afraid to say no. She can politely but firmly turn down a friend's request to babysit yet again if she's feeling tired. She can end a phone call with a relative who is telling the same gossip for the 100th time. She can stop interacting with people who leave her feeling completely drained. Her social circle might not be large, but it's high quality. There are no casual acquaintances in it. Everyone allowed into her inner circle is someone who shares her values, respects her boundaries, and contributes to her growth. How does this affect her attractiveness? Tremendously. A man sees that being part of her inner circle is a privilege, not something to be taken for granted. He understands that her trust, her time, and her attention have to be earned. She doesn't give herself away easily. This immediately increases her value in his eyes. He sees that she respects herself, and so she will expect respect from him as well. She won't put up with neglect, manipulation, or disrespectful behavior. Not because she will make a scene, but because she will simply remove that person from her life, quietly and for good. This selectiveness creates an aura of unavailability in the best possible way. She isn't closed off, but she's not completely open either. She's like a private garden with a beautiful but tall fence. To get inside, you have to find the gate and ask for permission to enter. And this awakens a healthy hunter and explorer instinct in a man. He wants to prove that he deserves to be in that garden. Take a look at your social circle. Who's in it? Are there any energy vampires? Are there people who drag you back into old grudges and insecurities? Start to slowly distance yourself from them. This isn't a betrayal. It's an act of self-love. You need your energy for your own life, your goals, and for the people you truly love. When you stop giving yourself away to everyone, you'll be amazed at how much strength and time you've freed up, and others will sense this concentrated, pure energy as a powerful, magnetic attraction. Fifth manifestation, intellectual curiosity, a mind that never ages. Physical beauty is just a static image. It might take your breath away for a moment, but it can't hold your attention for long. Sooner or later, you get used to it. But there is another kind of beauty, the beauty of a lively, inquisitive, and curious mind, and this beauty is dynamic. It is always changing, evolving, and revealing new sides of itself. It never gets boring. A self-sufficient woman understands that her greatest asset isn't the shape of her nose or the size of her hips, but her mind, and she constantly invests in its growth. She doesn't stop learning after college. For her, life is a never-ending university. She reads books on a wide variety of subjects, from art history to quantum physics. She watches documentaries, listens to lectures, learns new languages, travels, and asks questions. Her curiosity is genuine. She doesn't do it to show off her knowledge or to impress a man. She does it for herself. She is simply interested in living. She is curious about how this world works, and this childlike, vibrant curiosity keeps her soul from growing old. Jung emphasized the importance of continuous psychological development throughout life. He believed that stagnation and a lack of growth is the beginning of psychological death. A woman who is always learning new things stays forever young at heart. It's impossible to be bored with a woman like that. She is an endless source of fascinating conversation topics. She can talk about politics and, 5 minutes later, discuss string theory or the features of Gothic architecture with the same enthusiasm. She doesn't just repeat memorized facts. She has her own opinions, her own perspective, because she doesn't just absorb information. She processes it. A man with her is always discovering something new about the world and about her. She challenges him intellectually. She broadens his horizons. A relationship with her isn't just romance, it's an exciting adventure, a journey of constant growth. He knows that even after 20, 30, or 50 years, he'll always have something to talk about with her, because she'll never stop changing and surprising him. While a woman who only focuses on her looks has less to offer as the years go by, a woman with a curious mind offers more and more. Her wrinkles become just frames for eyes that shine with wisdom and intelligence. Her attractiveness moves from the surface to something deeper, becoming even more powerful because of it. Don't let your mind get lazy. Read, learn, ask questions. Step outside your usual interests. If you've always read novels, try reading a book about astronomy. If you've only watched comedies, try watching a serious documentary. Sign up for an online course you think you could never handle. Stretch your mind. Feed it new, unfamiliar things. This living, flexible, curious mind will become your passport to a world of timeless appeal. Asterisk, asterisk. Sixth manifestation, freedom from needing external approval. Asterisk, asterisk. This is probably one of the hardest, but also one of the most freeing parts of self-sufficiency. It is the complete and unconditional rejection of the need to be liked. From early childhood, women are conditioned to seek approval. Be a good girl, get good grades, look pretty so boys will like you, be a good homemaker so you can get married successfully. Her entire self-esteem is built on external feedback. A like on a photo, a compliment from a coworker, an admiring glance from a man, these all become like a drug, and without them, she feels like a nobody. Jung would describe this as the total power of the persona over the personality. A woman is so afraid to show her true face, with all its flaws, quirks, and inconvenient opinions, that she turns into a walking collection of socially approved qualities. She becomes perfect, but lifeless. A self-sufficient woman goes through an inner revolution. She shifts her locus of control from external to internal. The only opinion that truly matters to her is her own. The only person she tries to please is herself in the mirror. This doesn't mean she becomes rude or antisocial. No, she can still be polite and pleasant, but her actions are no longer driven by fear of judgment or a craving for praise. She says what she thinks, even if someone doesn't like it. She dresses in a way that feels comfortable to her, not just what's fashionable. She lives by her own rules, not by someone else's expectations. As soon as a woman frees herself from this dependence, magic happens. She becomes relaxed, natural, and authentic. The tension and the fear of making a mistake leave her. She starts to radiate a calm confidence that is much more attractive than any perfect but fake mask. A man senses this freedom on a subconscious level. He realizes that she can't be manipulated with flattery. She can't be bought with compliments. She can't be forced to do something she doesn't want to do by threatening her with disapproval. She is not his reflection or his echo. She is a separate, complete person, and this inspires a completely different level of respect in him. He knows that if she is with him, it's her genuine, free choice, not an attempt to earn his love or boost her self-esteem. A relationship with her is a partnership of equals, not a game of savior and victim. Letting go of the need for approval is frightening. It means being prepared for someone to misunderstand you, judge you, or reject you. But Jung would say that it is on this path, by accepting your shadow, everything imperfect within yourself, that a person discovers their self, their true, whole self. And the price of this wholeness is freedom from the opinions of others. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "But what will people think of me?" Stop. Ask yourself, "But what do I think about this? What do I really want to do?" And do it. Even if it's just in small steps, start reclaiming your right to be yourself. This inner freedom is the most powerful aphrodisiac that has ever existed. Asterisk, asterisk. Seventh manifestation, accepting your story, the wisdom of scars. Asterisk, asterisk. Physical beauty is a story of flawlessness. Smooth skin, perfect features, no blemishes. It's a flawless, unchanging surface. But real, deep attractiveness is about accepting your flaws, about turning your scars into symbols of wisdom. Every woman carries her own story, a history of disappointments, losses, mistakes, and pain. And many try to hide this story, to forget it, to pretend it never happened. They are ashamed of their past failed relationships, their wrong decisions, their moments of weakness. They wear a mask of constant positivity and perfection, but behind that mask are fear and unprocessed pain. A self-sufficient woman is not ashamed of her story. She embraces it. She knows that every scar on her soul is a sign of a lesson learned. Every mistake is a stepping stone on the road to wisdom. Every disappointment is a workout that has made her heart stronger and more perceptive. Jung said that we do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. To accept your story is exactly to bring your darkness into the light. It means to stop fighting your past and to integrate it into your personality. A woman who has accepted her story does not project bitterness or cynicism onto the world. On the contrary, she radiates a deep, calm compassion, both for herself and for others. She is not afraid to be vulnerable because she knows her strength lies not in never falling, but in getting up every time. Now, her appeal is the appeal of maturity. In her eyes, you can read not only joy, but also sadness, and this makes them fathomless. In her smile, there is not only lightness, but also a touch of wisdom, and this makes it priceless. She doesn't try to seem perfect, and that is precisely what makes her perfect in her humanity. A man with such a woman feels that he too is allowed to be imperfect. He can be honest with her, can talk about his fears and failures without being afraid of being judged or seen as weak. She won't try to fix or save him. She will simply be there, accepting him as he is because she has learned to accept herself. A relationship with her is a space of deep trust and genuine intimacy. It is not a game played by two perfect masks. It is a meeting of two living, real souls, with all their history, with all their scars. And such a connection is far stronger and more valuable than any superficial infatuation. Now, stop hiding your scars. Stop blaming yourself for past mistakes. Look at your life not as a series of failures, but as the unique path that has made you who you are today. Every one of your flaws is part of your uniqueness. All your pain is the source of your depth. When you accept your story in its entirety, you will find that unshakable wholeness that is the essence of timeless, unfading attractiveness. We have walked a path to the very depths of the female soul, leaving behind the fleeting anxieties about wrinkles and fading youth. We have talked about what is beyond the reach of time, about inner self-sufficiency, about that one character trait that, like a powerful magnet, draws respect, admiration, and true love to a woman. The 7 manifestations we have examined, solitude without loneliness, emotional sovereignty, the quiet fire of passion, the wisdom of selectivity, intellectual curiosity, freedom from approval, and accepting one's story, are not separate tricks. They are facets of one large diamond. They are notes in one beautiful symphony, the symphony of your whole mature soul. Now, beauty, gifted by nature, is a lottery ticket. It can bring you luck, but its expiration date is limited. Beauty cultivated from within is a priceless asset that only grows in value over the years. It is capital that cannot be lost or stolen. The path to this inner self-sufficiency is not a sprint, but a marathon. It requires the courage to look into your shadow, the bravery to reject familiar roles, and the patience to cultivate new qualities within yourself. But every step on this path will bring you more freedom, peace, and inner strength. Now and then, you will notice something amazing. You will stop being afraid of the mirror. The wrinkles around your eyes will tell stories not of fading, but of thousands of genuine smiles. The gray in your hair will become not a sign of old age, but a symbol of wisdom and dignity. Your body will become not an object for criticism, but a loyal friend and a temple for your beautiful, eternally young soul. You will stop searching for love because you yourself will become its source. You will stop chasing happiness because it will live inside you. And it is at this moment, when you become self-sufficient, whole, and fulfilled, that the world around you will change. Men, events, opportunities, everything will start to be drawn to you, not because you demand it, but because your energy will become a wordless invitation. Now, as Jung would say, the ultimate goal of a person is not to reach perfection, but to achieve wholeness. Become whole, and you will become a magnet forever.